It starts off with the skill set. What do you bring to the table? What is it that you can offer the industry? But right now I'm just studying work. I'm studying people that I look up to's work, and I'm going like, what? This is like this. I was doing this in 2013. You know what I mean? This guy's like a demigod of the stunt game, man, and I've got so long to go. And I'm hardworking. So what about the other guys that are not applying themselves, that are not taking up martial arts, that are not training, that are not spending their off time on the mat? What about them? Look, we're in the era now where the work is consistent. You just gotta make sure, are you in the top 10? Or are you in the top 5? You decide that, right? You can only get there through hard work, right? So I always knew back then that you gotta put money aside. It's like, if I'm making, and I'm just throwing crazy numbers out at you, I know I'm making 10 grand. In my mind, I'm only making 5 grand. The sun industry is great because it humbles you. You can be a hero today and a zero tomorrow.
I suppose the term could be street smart. Where did it all come from?
Street smart, baby. You know what I mean? Street smart. First of all, anything you practice in this world, you get good at. Even crap. You practice you crap all the time, you be crap at it. So, that's what I can see clear. So if you can't see it, then it won't happen. You got to see something clear in your mind. So I see that clear in my mind. And I just hope that there'll be young people that'll grab it the way we grab it. It's not going to be the end of the world. The economy will take a hit, but rest assured, beyond this, there will be a boom. The race for content has already begun.
Hey guys, welcome back to Money Talks, and today's guest is Grant Powell. Grant, you are a stunt performer, stunt coordinator, fight choreographer, and your unique approach and fusion of disciplines develop the perfect relationship between acting and stunt coordination, bringing together the elements of talent to produce modern-day blockbusters. You've trained many of the top stunt performers in the industry to date and stand highly respected in your field and have built a strong foundation within the South African film and stunt industry, expressing your art in many local and international productions such as Black Sails, Scorpion King 4, Death Race, Commando, and the recent South African cast Netflix special, Queen Sono, as well as you are a Guinness World Record holder. Grant, thanks for being here. And firstly, tell us, what is it like to be a Guinness World Record holder, and what is it for?
Man, we hold that record collectively and individually. Um, in SA, for burning the most people simultaneously for the longest time. That's what that Guinness World Record is for. And it was the birth child of Kevin Butters and our paradigm shift. And we were sitting one day we were in Muizenberg, and we just met for coffee, and then we'd been doing all these tests. We were actually doing workshops, burning stunt performers, taking them through the process of doing a full fire, full body burn, and not just the burn itself, but from prep to burn. So we would take them from how to prep, and then they do it themselves. You know what I mean? So
So this is physically setting a person on fire.
Yeah, physically full body burn, big and safely, of course. And that was we wanted to empower the stunt performers, so that when they're around it, they know what's going on, and then we realized, wait a minute, we've already done 50, 60 people, in a space of like 2 months. And then Kevin was like, yeah, we should burn them all at one time. I was like, huh? And then he's like, yeah, I think we can. And then another coordinator was doing a film, and we wanted to, we were helping him with his film. And in his movie, there was like 7 people that burning simultaneously in his film. So we were doing the tests, it was a passion project. And we were doing tests, of how we're going to ignite all these people, how we're going to put them out, and then that's how the idea really came to. And then we thought, hey, let's put it out there. Let's speak to all the coordinators, did a little WhatsApp group, Everyone was keen. Everyone was on board. Everyone brought their expertise. Everyone came together. It was a massive feat. We called the Guinness, Guinness World Record. We called them, and they were like, "Okay, cool, boom, boom. This is the process and whatever." And
What was the previous record on Guinness?
I can't even recall what I think it was like 20 people, and
And you guys burned
32 people for 32 seconds.
at one time.
At one time, it was actually longer, but they took it from the last person ignited and the first person that drops. You with me? So it was actually for longer, but that was the record, and we still hold that record. And I don't know who's gonna be tempted to break that record. I don't know.
And this was soon after Game of Thrones had that scene where a lot of stunt performers got burnt
Oh
by.
man, that was top. That was inspiring for me when we saw that, and I knew some of those stunt performers actually personally via Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. But that was inspiring, and we just wanted to top that. Obviously that was visually that was much better because they were in costume. It was way bigger. They had all the gear.
All the armor.
We did this. We did this the old school raw way, bro, and it worked, and it was a real feat for South Africa, for the South African stunt community collective. It was really the last time we all really got together. The camaraderie was great, man. We are thinking of another record. I can't talk about it just yet. I'm waiting to hear from Kevin. It will not only involve one discipline but two disciplines, and we hope that will once again, bring the stunt community together, and we take another record.
Grant, bring the stunt community together. Grant, I want to take this all the way back to the beginning. In talking about your story, in talking about everything that started from the beginning days, you don't come from, it's interesting where you have come from, growing up in Mitchell's Plain, all the way up to today, working on what might call is the dream industry. I as a stunt performer, as a friend of yours, we love this industry, Grant. And tell the viewers here, where did it all begin?
Sure. I don't know how many times I've told this story, but I'm gonna start with the beginning. I guess it kind of came to me, man. I was always into performing arts. If I can think back from primary school, actually from creche level already. I was always involved in some kind of a show, or Valentine's Day or American Day. That's your casual day in school. We do shows. We were part of rap groups, dance groups. So I was always involved in entertainment. And I think POC came to our school. That kind of ignited the thought that, hey man, we can be more than this, because they obviously, POC, right, prophets of the city, and they at that point already been traveling the world, and spreading the gospel of hip hop and telling South African stories, through the medium of hip hop. So I was very inspired by that because I could relate. I was like, hey, there's me. There's someone like me. I could do that. And years went by, and I got a job at Ritanga Junction. I started out as a child minder and a character minder. So basically working in the kids entertainment department. There were dancers, puppeteers, magicians, circus performers, you name it, man. And then there were the stunt guys. They were doing a stunt show. They were doing a stunt show every day, 6 days a week, 2 shows a day. And I had the crappiest but fun job. I enjoyed that job. I enjoyed getting in a suit and entertaining kids, but I was seen as like the bottom of the totem pole. You're not seeing you in the suit, and but it gave me a lot of free time because I think I could only get into the suit like 4 times a day, which by law, because it's claustrophobic, you die in that thing. So it gave me a lot of opportunity and time to go and watch the stunt show, watch the puppet show, watch the dance shows, and just befriend everyone. And one by one, show by show, I started getting slotted in because I knew all the lines. I knew You know, then one day one guy would get sick and they'd be like, okay, you do the voice, I'll manipulate the puppet. I'm like, cool. Then I became the voice, you know. And then eventually he was like, oh, can you cover for me, man? I gotta do this. And you know, and everyone was starting to get into the film industry. At that time, you know, I was like it was 2008, 2009, you know. And so, you know, long story short, got involved with the Stunt show. My business partner, actually, Vernon Willemse, got me involved in the Stunt show. He left to the States when the place closed down, and I introduced him back into the film industry. So weird how that worked out. But got involved in the Stunt show, did that Stunt show for about 2.5 years, you know, maybe even longer. And the place then closed down in 2002. And and then yeah, you know, I went in. I still carried on with you know, children's entertainment. You know, I toured car. We did Grahamstown festivals, all these kiddie shows, man. You know, and then one day I was in Canal Walk, met the stunt coordinator. He was like, "Hey, I remember you from the stunt show. Do you want to double someone?" I'm like, "Yeah, cool, poof." Lo and behold, it's my friend.
So this was so this was complete random incident that got you into the actual film industry.
I wouldn't say it's random. I mean, I already had my preparation, right? Think about it. I'm already at this point in time. I've already got 3 years. You know, 4 years. And I started '98, closed in 2002. You know, so I already had experience as a performer in a live show. So there's no cut. You know, we be doing it in real time, in real life. You know, so you know, and these were all pre-choreographed fights and explosions and whatever. So I already came into the movie game not a stranger to action. You with me? So I wouldn't say it was by yes by chance that he recognized me from the show. Um, so yes, I would say that was by chance, but I was prepared. You know, preparation met opportunity. I don't even look at that as a chance. That was just the opportunity that I already was prepared for. And then the rest, as I say, is history, man. I think I did 2 movies where I doubled Denver Frau. It was still thin at the time. That time, if you did like 10 days on a movie set, you were working, man. You in there, you know. And that wasn't the case. I was still doing theater. I was still running with Angels everywhere. In 2004, you know what I mean. We still toured with that show. I still did Shirley Goodness and Mercy. In 2007, I was still involved. I was still having other streams of income within entertainment, you know. But the stunt thing was, you know, the movies started getting more and more, and then later down the line, I found my passion for fight choreography. I actually already had that passion because I came from it, you know. But now it was a different medium. It was for screen. It was for film and TV. So it was cool because you could cut, you could make a mistake and start over, whereas you can't in a live show. You fluff, you gotta think on your feet.
So tell me, Grant, you make a statement, always be prepared, you're always ready to accept the opportunity. And this is a theme that we see consistently, not only in the stunt industry, but in many freelance in business these days. Explain that statement. How do you always remain prepared? I mean, is it based on your vision that you saw yourself working with the greats all those years ago? And where did that motivation come from to always be prepared?
Mentors, to answer that, I'm not prepared here. I'm just giving you the answers as you're asking the question. But mentors, I always in life, actually, I always had mentors. I always had someone to look up to, and so if there was someone that I really looked up to, a natural process. I wouldn't go up there like, it would be natural, I would be hardworking. I would be constantly at it, and naturally they would gravitate towards the two lights will attract, because you share the same passion, and then you learn from someone that's already been there, that's already done it, and you go as far as you can with that person, and then you find, and you like I said, I was a stunt performer, so I was attracted to all the best stunt performers. And then I noticed, oh man, this coordinator is really good with fights, man. I love fights. I want to be involved. And then you become the Aussie, you become the guy that they can call up anytime. You call me anytime. I'm there to learn. I'm there to learn everything. And then so that leads to the next and the next and the next. And then you realize, whoa, this guy's actually good at creating fights. He's good at filming fights. I need to learn how to film, man. So what do? You invest in a camera. Now you become the second camera. Okay, cool. I'll get this. You know what I mean? And then he starts looking, your footage is actually, your footage is tight. Your footage is better. You know what? You should handle the camera. And now you're learning another set of skills. You with me? So now you shoot and like, hey, here's the footage, man. I hope you like it. It's like, oh, good. Now you realize, oh, this guy has to stitch all this together. He's got to edit this. And I go, oh, I'm still walking around with an old Dell computer, man. I need to get myself a Mac. So now I'm motivated to get that item, you know. So now I'm how can I say, I'm more of an asset now to the game, you know. That is the stunt industry or the fight game, the fight choreography industry, uh, or the fight choreography discipline within the industry. So now you got your computer, your camera, and now you go, what, you know what? The movie's done. What do I do in my off time? I've got the tools to make. I've got the skills to physically do it. I've learned the skills from a mentor. Some are older than you, some of them are younger than you. You know, everyone brings skills to the table. You you go, I've got the tools. I need to shoot something. You know, you shoot something. You know, some of it will be good, some of it will be crappy, but you got to start somewhere. So you always got to be prepared. So when the next movie comes, guess what? You've already shot 4 or 5 little short films. So when the director has this vision, you're like, oh, actually, and eventually the directors will be looking to you and going, remember that video you did?
What do you think?
That video, no, they shooting you shot something totally out of your pocket. You paid money, you bought all the gear, you invested in this little project for YouTube. You've put it on YouTube. You know, you start to amass a digital footprint. Boop, boop, boop. And you know, and the directors will be like, I've got this idea, and then you can actually reference from your own work. They may be referencing your work. They go, yeah, remember that the skill like this. You killed the guy like this. I want this in my movie. And you go like, well, that's an old video that I shot with a cell phone in a gym. You get what I'm saying? That's
Absolutely.
preparation. That's where preparation meets opportunity. So I'm always prepared because I'm always on the floor. I'm always training. It's not like I only do this when I'm shooting movies. You know, I think that's the key. That's what upcoming guys need to understand, that it's not just when you're on a movie set. You can't be learning on a movie set. You make the mistakes while you doing your own little movies and your own little shorts, and because it takes time and effort, and that's why there's so few. There's really very few at the top, because when you really get into it, it's a lot of work. You know, you're out there physically getting either beat up or putting together sequences where other people beat each other up. Oh, that's already a 12-hour day. Now you go home, you take the footage. You're so excited about it. You don't rest and you go, I'll do it tomorrow. You come home, you plug it in, you start naming all your clips. That's another 4 or 5 hours. Move. You're not paid for this. This is your movie. The payoff is later down the line. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, Grant.
And a lot of people need to understand that. You know, the time you put in, the labor to pay ratio in the beginning, it's always never work. You go like, this is way too much work. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, Grant. You know what you're talking to is so you literally covered every aspect of what it takes to build a successful business, in that you went off on it and you dealt with dedication, passion, you dealt with marketing, communication, you dealt with thinking for the future, innovation, building your digital footprint. Grant, what you're saying in the word preparedness and always being ready has everything to do with building a successful brand, a successful business. And it came off so naturally. I mean, you were just explaining yourself on being prepared, yet you talk to all of these things, project management, future planning. Grant, where did you, were you born with this? I suppose the term could be street smart. Where did it all come from?
Street smart, baby. You know what I mean? Street smart. Anyone who knows me, anyone who knows Strandfontein, anyone that knows Mitchell's Plain, So that's why I look at people might look at your past or where you come from as a disadvantage. No, I feel it's my ultimate advantage. You can spot, you can just you spot things a mile away. You know what I mean? It's like ah, that guy's a fake. He's lying. You know what I mean? Actions. I look at actions. I look at body language. Because you had to. You know, growing up in the plane, you had to. You know what I mean? That time we were taking. I used to get my mom every Friday in town center. You know town center? You know what I mean? Town center, Mitchell's Plain. Google that place. The, and to think it was the absolute norm on a Friday to get into a taxi, wait for your mother in front of Woolworths. Woolworths was like the safe place to wait for your parents, and there'd be other kids that you knew. Sometimes you travel together, it's kids in your road or whatever, and we're all waiting for our parents, to help them carry the bags in the taxi. Poof, your prize would be a chip roll for all your efforts, and you had to be street smart. You had to. Your parents, my mom especially. My mom's a strong woman. She instilled that in me. So yeah, I would say street smart was my number one attribute, and I wouldn't have had that if I wasn't if I wasn't growing up in that environment. I used it to my advantage, I believe.
Use it to your advantage. You took opportunities along the way. Tell me, Grant, for the person entering the industry, entering any freelance industry in light of today's times, in our industry as it's evolving, looking towards the future, other than being prepared, there's also the art of networking, there's also the art of being a team player. How important is that in being helpful around a film set, in being helpful, not only being a stunt performer? You and I had a chat before we started putting the cameras on around looking the part for a stunt performer versus actually being an effective stunt performer from a skill set perspective. But it goes deeper than that in the relationships and understanding that you might have with regards to the entire production of a film. What is that department doing? Where does it all fit in, networking? Because I know this is a big part of the industry and it applies to many small businesses.
There's many layers to it, man. Like I said, it starts off with the skill set. What do you bring to the table? What is it that you can offer the industry? You know what I mean? Then I think secondly, it's certainly personality too. Are you someone that can speak? Are you someone that can communicate with an actor, with a director, with a producer? Are you helpful? Are you one-dimensional? Do you just fight? Do you just drive a car? Do you just jump off buildings? Do you just burn? Those are all great skills. But imagine you were only good at one. How many times do I need to burn someone in a movie? How many times do I need someone to flip a car in a movie? Those are few and far. I would also advise the new guys, uh, you got to look at what what keeps you busy the most. What is the most that's required for a film set? They always need someone to fall, get smacked, kick, punch. In a battle scene, we always need loads of guys that can fight, or a hero always needs to punch somebody in the face or do a combat sequence with him. So, bing, stunt fighting. I need to be a good stunt fighter, you know? And then that's going to lead to that coordinator or that fight choreographer going like, he's my go-to guy. He's my test dummy. Now you're close to the coordinator. You're going to learn from him. You're going to learn everything. You're going to learn his body language, his mannerisms, when to speak, when not to speak, when to tug, when to push with actors. Because like I told you, 90% of the job is psychology, dealing with actors, dealing with their insecurities, dealing with their vulnerabilities, because they're learning and they're learning from you, and they're not going to want to learn nothing from you if you can't show it skillfully and communicate it in a way that's not condescending, intimidating, and all that jazz. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of layers to it. So I would always suggest, because I'm not the master at any of it. I'm the jack of all of it. I'm not the master of any of it. There's many that are better in the different disciplines. of the stunt game, if you know what I mean. There's so many disciplines that no one can be good at all of it. No, you'd have to be I don't know, 100 years old doing I don't know how many movies. Uh, you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying, Grant. And I suppose if you, sorry to interrupt you there, Grant, but what you're talking to as well is you always learning, you're always developing that art, experiencing different styles of filming, how it portrays on camera. And I mean, if you look at it, the movies we used to watch 20 years ago, leading up to 10 years ago, that the stunts in that, the fight sequence, the martial arts, you see it evolving right in front of our eyes. Previously, you'd see unrealistic. One guy gets punched and flies across the screen, and then we've seen a shift to fight choreography being more tactical, more realistic. You know, you're not going to get a guy that's going to get punched once and hit the floor directly. It's a more engaging action sequence, and there's a high demand for that. And then we're starting to see the age in films of massive CGI. You look at your Avengers types, where you kind of have to mix both of its sci-fi fighting, camera angles, how it feels on screen. You always have to be innovating 100%. And that's something that I really have always admired about your work, in terms of how you're always innovating the way. 5 years ago, Stunt Team and Grant Powell and Vernon Willemse you guys were filming amazing content, but start moving today and you see your recent uploads with the camera techniques. Do you just make this up? This is your own unique expression, right? So where does it come from?
So first of all, anything you practice in this world, you get good at. You know, even crap. You practice you crap all the time, you be crap at it. You know, so you got to be busy at it all the time. You know, primarily we started out as just teachers. You know, teaching the next generation. You know what we've learned and passing on that. You know, because we need to sustain the industry. You know what I mean? So how do you sustain it? You need to keep creating new performers, because your lifespan as a performer is really not that long if you really think about it. If you really become the gag guy, you know. So we've also had to evolve with the time over the years, like what's going to be more sustainable um, for us as performers or as contributors to the industry. So you know, the one just led to the other. So you know, good performers. Okay, now you're going to be good teachers. Okay, but to be a good teacher, you need to keep teaching. You know, so being a fight choreographer is inherent of teaching. You get what I'm saying? So you got to keep teaching to be a good teacher. If that answers your question, I don't know if I lost track of the question.
No, absolutely. You know, it does answer the question, and you always have to keep teaching to revisit your own basics, and that's, if you're strong on your basics, leads to inspiration of what could be.
And keeping your hand on the pulse of what's happening. You know, we still, you know, we got so much to learn. If you look at the game now, I mean, I'm sitting right now. Oh, you can't see my the screen in blank, but right now I'm just studying work. You know, I'm studying people that I look up to's work, and I'm going like, what? This is like this. I was doing this in 2013. You know what I mean? This guy's like a demigod of the stunt game, man, and I've got so long to go. You know, and I'm hardworking. So what about the other guys that are not applying themselves, that are not taking up martial arts, that are not training, that are not spending their off time on the mat? What about them? If I feel like I'm light years behind, you know, we've got such a long way to go still as a company, as individual coordinators, fight choreographers. So the best I can do is keep being at it, you know, keep learning, staying on the floor, keep being a student. I think the key to success is that every single stunt coordinator that I ever worked under was a mentor to me, really. You know, every single one of them, I took away something, you know. They left me with something that could take me to the next step, you know, whether it was physically teaching me something or leaving me with that gem, you know, whether it was their methodology. You know, I'm a piece of everyone. I think, you know, there's a piece of everyone uh, in me. I don't know if that
And you know,
sounds right, but
I think that's such an important thing, and I can relate to that, and many people can relate to that. Life is a journey, and in our art, in our profession, we meet people along the way, all mentors. If you have that perspective, that lens, to learn from every interaction that you can, and a lot of them, a lot of people around us are mentors, and it's that mindset. That's the most important thing. And you give credit to every single one of them, and I appreciate that you're about Grant, is you always learn something, good, bad, incredible, from every interaction. And in a game like that,
100%. People will say the good and the bad. In my view, there's no bad. Everything of it was good. Of it was good, man. Even if it was where you were like, taught a tough lesson, or you were feel like you were maybe sidelined, or you were kept in the kitchen, or all of that is gold, because it's all preparation. It's all preparation. So I'm really grateful for all the stunt coordinators that I've ever had the opportunity to work with, and that I still continue to work with. I like to believe that I have a good working relationship with everybody, and I continue to learn from them. So yeah.
at what point, Grant, did you decide to start the stunt team and build a company around it? Was it, did
It
you
was just
always
like,
have the...
you know what? It was just literally, it came out of, if you really look at the logo, I have this old vest that says, stunt team, stunt fighters, 2011. But it was literally, it was just a picture of myself in Temba. Um, he passed on very quickly. He had cancer, and we were good friends. And he was a very proud guy, and he had a very infectious personality. So we always joke around on set and whatever. And we took this picture one day, and we were shooting the killing of Bin Laden. It was like a low budget, one of those, like Banged Up Abroad, one of those shows, where I played the soldier that shot myself, and I'm Bin Laden, and then I'm the dude in the helicopters. Like we were like, we were shooting that with Uncle Momare, one of my key mentors. And so to answer your question, Stunt was just a concept of teamwork. That's all it was. We're a team, and we it's all in the name. We're a team. We work together. We can't do it without each other. And that was just the Owens on the floor, the stunt players. And then we just progressed. I think in 2015 we were like, hey man, we are 35 years old. We've got enough experience. We really wanted to have beyond 10 years of active experience, as as uh, as leaders, of our craft, and we just wanted to teach people. That was the goal, and then eventually what happens was, you know, you're out there, you're constantly doing all these workshops. You again, and this touches onto the other point about networking and digital footprint. So you're putting out all this content where you're teaching people, and you're transferring skills, and because you've been in the industry for so long, we're talking now plus 13, 14 years at this point, you know. And I'm talking about besides the stunt show. If I add the stunt show, we're talking 20 years. 20 years you can go back, and you could go back 20 years and find us performing stunts. You get what I'm saying? So it was the right time. It was the right time. I don't feel it was premature. I felt that at that point I'd achieved uh, my goals. My goals were like, okay, I want to be in everyone. When I got into the industry, I was like, oh, again, like I told you on the first point, mentors. I looked up the guys, and I thought, yo, I want to be like that guy. I saw, and then I started to notice, oh, here's an elite 10 that's always on call. I thought, I need to be part of that 10. I need to work hard. I need to be in their face. I need to just do hard work, and they'll notice it. And then I got inducted into the 10. Then I realized, whoa, out of the 10, 5 of these guys are coattailing. Now you're in it, and I go, 5 out of this 10 is actually just coattailing. They're riding on the legacy of being for 20 years. And I didn't want to be that. Till now, I don't want to be that. I'm not ride on that. I want to stay relevant. you know. So, and then I was like, I need to be in that five, man, that five dedicated, that five guys that stays after, the five guys that are gonna critique their work, and so we went, and I noticed these five guys, they in every stunt company show reel, they in every stunt company had a show reel, and I was like, I want to be, and that's a goal of mine, and in so that means you, by virtue of that, you're working with every other coordinator, every other top coordinator. I wanted to have a relationship with, not just do one day's work with him. I wanted him to know me, and I wanted to know him, how he works, his methodology, etc., etc. And so Vernon and I always had that in mind, that okay, we're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna serve our time. We still of service to the game even now. And in 2005, 2015, 2015, we registered the Stunt team, and then we're still going, and we're still growing, and we're still got a long way to go. But if I look back on just on the last year alone, it's incredible. We've gone back to back movies. We're on the forefront of local films. I'd like to believe, and we're just carrying on. We're still pushing on strong. Before COVID happened, we were both on two local projects, two good projects, off the backs of two international projects. So we're doing well. We really want to take our skills and transfer that into the local market, because we started to notice, like, it's kind of mediocre because they don't have skilled practitioners helping them with their films. You look at a local Mzansi film, and you see the punches, and you can just see like there wasn't a professional there. You see the guy holding the gun is like this, and then we were like this, and so we started to help, offer our services to local productions when we were not on bigger jobs, and that kind of snowballed into, look now, look at Queen Sona, the first Netflix African original series, and it's really broken the mold, so we want to continue with that.
And I must tell you, firstly, thank you to all the audience that didn't know this. I did feature getting shot on Queen Sona, and that is
Yes,
because of
in a
my
bar.
main man.
Yes, it was a fun project. It was a
It
fun
was a
project.
fun project, and Grant actually called me in. You guys know that I am a stunt performer. It's from the industry I came from, and Grant said, let's have some fun. Thanks, Grant, and a shout out to our proudly South African. That's right here. That's the stunt team. That was Grant Powell. Sorry, Grant, for interrupting you, but it's you were going off the topic, and it's such a special thing that you guys have done, a proudly South African Netflix special, my man.
And there'll be more,
You
man, and what happens with that is it brings the eyes. Now we are noticed, Not when I say we, I don't mean like us. I mean the industry
South
is now on
African
notice. Like
industry.
now Netflix believes, hey, it can be done. So of that, I believe full well we will do many more uh, Netflix shows, and we just, like Vernon likes to say, we just cap on, um, we just carry on and do the good work and have good work ethic, and it's all in the name. You can never do it alone. You have to do it as a team, and we just cap on, man. We love what we do, and
In light of COVID, you mentioned COVID and what it's doing to the industry. Well, the industries in the world, how it's slowed down everything. What would you say is the importance of running, be it a freelance stunt performer, be it a stunt company, the importance of having a reserve and having your finances planned as a company in this industry? How have you been affected in all of this?
man, well, brother, man, firsthand. You've been pivotal in terms of helping stunt team with our financial structures and so forth. And always when you start off in the business as a freelance stunt performer, you already a business in yourself. You are a running business, right? You are a freelancer, independent contractor, right? So your work is not consistent. Look, we're in the era now where the work is consistent. You just gotta make sure, are you in the top 10? Or are you in the top 5? You decide that, right? You can only get there through hard work, right? There are other means, of course, but that will be easily seen. I mean, if you're really passionate about it, doesn't matter. You'll work all the time. You'll work all the time. If you are passionate, it will show. You can't fake that. So I knew, oh man, as when I was, stunt performing, I still stunt perform, of course, but now you do a big gag, right? Oh man, the money is flowing. You're feeling like Snoop Dogg because the adjustments are good. But now you just you've earned all this money. Let's say you clock maybe 60, 80 G's in a day. Bam, right? So now you're thinking, oh, I made a lot of money. But now that's in February. March comes around and you got 2 days on set. Now your 80 G's doesn't seem so much anymore because you got to cover all your overhead. So I always knew back then that you got to put money aside. It's like if I'm making, and I'm just throwing crazy numbers out at you, I know I'm making 10 grand. In my mind, I'm only making 5 grand, right? That's always how I've operated. So, poof, save. You got to save first. You got to pay yourself also first. Okay, people are gonna go, what? You pay yourself first. You the one most dedicated to waking up, getting the job done. You put in the time, so reward yourself. Before I used to, that reward used to be like whatever, deckies, the banner, whatever. You know what I mean? Now, as an adult, as a young father, as a married man, now that doesn't become that anymore. But you start putting away, and it's very unfortunate with COVID because it kills our momentum. You know what I mean? Because, but I was saying to my wife, I said to my wife, hey man, maybe this is what it all culminates to. You know what I mean? Now we prepared. We are prepared to sit this through. We don't know how long this is gonna last. Will it be 2 months, 3 months, 5 months? How much have you saved of your total your lifestyle? How long can you survive? Are you living hand to mouth? Because if you're living hand to mouth and not saving, guess what? You popping now. You don't know if you're gonna be a stunt performer post COVID-19. So I urge upcoming performers. I urge you. As especially the young guys who are, they in there, they're the top guys. The stunt industry is great because it humbles you. You can be a hero today and a zero tomorrow. You've seen it. You've been a stunt double before. You know, soon as you're done, okay, the double's done. Okay, actor, come on in, come on in. Actor does a tenth of what you done, and everyone's like, whoa, yeah, cut, bring the stunt double, throw him through the window. Hurry up, clean up. We need to move on. That's the nature of the game. You know what I'm saying? So, so be wise with your money. Save. You gotta save. You got to save. I can't say it enough. Because this industry will either make you or break you, man.
Grant, what's your take on residuals and the South African industry? I know we've seen after Mad Max, Australian performers started putting a lot of regulations. We know South Africa and some other countries are well known to being cheap labor in terms of the production industry regulations, associations that represent performers. And after Mad Max, I was saying Australia started putting a lot of rules, and there's rumors that was what led business away, and there's all sorts of viewpoints when professionalizing the industry. However, at a time like this, performers like in the USA, in the UK, that make a film that get recognized in their contracts and earn residual income, and that's because they signed the contract. We don't have that in South Africa for stunt performers. What's your take around all of that and life after COVID?
I mean, wouldn't that be nice if we had that in place? And I think post COVID, there's going to be a lot of rethinking and restructuring of how films are going to be made. Um, your other point is totally valid, though. There's a reason why people love to come and film in South Africa. It's because they can bypass, unions, and they can bypass these contracts, and in essence, it just becomes cheaper to shoot here and attractive. So it's a real catch-22. You start making these crazy demands, they simply go shoot in Argentina or in Bulgaria or in any other cheaper place where they can circumvent those
Production
union
costs,
deals.
budgets. Yeah.
So it's like it's really tough. And again, I'm not of the authority to speak on that matter, but I do feel it would have totally benefited the entire industry. I mean, not just stunt people, actors, and everyone involved. You know what I mean? Imagine we would be styling now. We wouldn't be worried. And look, there's debt relief. There's businesses being bailed out, and we do feel as stunt performers and you know
Artists, yeah.
practitioners of the stunt industry that we feel like left out. You know what I mean? That is the reality. I wish this wasn't much. I wish I could, paint a better picture, but it's not. At the end of the day, yeah, you really got to be wise with your funds because you're in a high risk, high pay industry, and you just got to be wise with your money. That's all I can say on that matter.
So, after life after COVID, right? How do you see the silver lining and the opportunities in this downtime while the world has slowed down, productions are on halt? What were you working on, and how is it? How are you thinking towards the future in terms of opportunity through this crisis and after it in the industry?
Production's not on hold, bro. I'm sitting here with literally, if you can just see behind me, my office is a mess, but I'm sitting with like literally like 3 scripts. Um, and so they just, we're gonna ride this out. It's not gonna be the end of the world. The economy will take a hit, but rest assured, beyond this, there will be a boom. The race for content has already begun. Otherwise, I would not be sitting here breaking down scripts and yeah, yeah, and working.
Well, I mean, everyone's binge watching Netflix at the moment. They'll run out of content in the next few
race
weeks.
for content is already on, and those who can, the creatives, the script writers, believe you me, they are still working. It is the people on the ground that can't, unfortunately, because of COVID. But post this, there will be a massive boom. I'll be the first one to admit that I'm wrong if I am, but it just makes logical sense. They're
I
never
don't
going to
think you're
stop
wrong,
making
Grant.
movies.
And they're never going to stop making movies. I don't think you're wrong. And I do believe that our South African stunt crews, not just the stunt performers, but film crews of the pedigree status in the world.
100%. So, I'm always positive. I don't allow those negative thoughts to, it's tough. It's a tough time, but the work, we will be triple, double booked post lockdown. I'm telling you now, and so we got to be prepared right now. Like I said, I've been breaking down scripts, and now I'm studying Vlad Rimberg. He's like, for me, he's like probably one of the best in the world. And I just study his work, just by looking at how did he do that shot, how did he, he's got a lot of cool videos on his channel. So I'm just, keeping my mind busy. I'm still marinated in the making of movies, even 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 during lockdown. And if I could escape and go and train, I would. you know so now I'm just starting marinating my mind, and hey, in this downtime, guess what, your script breakdowns will just become better because you've got time. You can look at it more in depth. You can work on how you're gonna how can I make this better on Excel. How can I make my cost estimates look even better? Okay, so you're always busy. Yeah.
I think it's important for the stunt performers spending a lot of time networking and speaking to productions to just mitigate that back pain from sitting in front of a screen the whole time.
Look, like I said, I'm not into this whole. And maybe I should. I'm not into this whole uh, weights, and I like interactive combat training, man. I love being interactive. I love, because that's my passion. I love fight choreography, so I love to be engaging with another moving party. You get what I'm saying? A dead weight. I've never been on a movie set where they go and action and you're doing 20 sets of arm curls. I have been on a movie set where they go and action and you do a reaction poof and a hip throw and an arm bar. So I think it's valuable that you go out and learn that, and I'm not saying don't do weight training because we've got to look after the body. We've got to keep this core strong. We've got to be fit and strong as stunt performers. But you've got to, like I said, you don't have to be the master of all. Just be the jack of all. You get what I'm saying? So go
I
out,
get what you're saying.
punch some mitts, work on the footwork, work on the reactions, get choked out a bit so you know how it feels. So when you're in there with an actor, you know what you're talking about. You've been there, you felt it. It all ties into the drama of it too, because you can actually, you can relate to. If it really happens, this is how it feels like. Oh, okay, cool, and so forth and so forth. So I just keep my mind busy all the time, but marinated in the making of film.
That's amazing, Grant. Grant, what's your favorite video on Money Talks?
Yeah, you know what? When I like, when I always tell people, you got to look at that one as how to pay your bond off without overextending yourself in 8 years. That's my favorite video. Also because I understood it. It was so, you could understand it because with the animation and all that jazz. I really thought it was very cool, and I feel if a lot of people are armed with that information, because your biggest asset is your house, right? And so that video, there are many, but that one, if you're gonna put me on the spot here, that video, I've told many people to watch that video.
I appreciate it, Grant. Thank you very much, man. And it's a simple story. You've always been passionate. You've always driven. Behind your actions was the passion and drive to get you throughout every obstacle that stood in your way, to help you stay on your feet, to continue to grow. And we have a wonderful industry with many people that can help and teach you, but more importantly, you were switched on and ready to receive that information. You had a vision, and every day you wake up proud, through the single days, through partnerships, through having a child in an industry such as film and stunts at the highest level, performing the way you do with your art. Grant, I wish you so much into the future, my friend, and you are a friend, so we chat regularly. But
Yeah,
all the
we do.
listeners out there, guys, this take something from here is the passion, the realness of how this man is true to himself, his colleague, his partner, his co-founder of Stunt Team, Vernon Willemse. I wish he could have been here on the call with us.
Yeah, man.
Two amazing individuals that attack life head on through the passion, through the hardships, learning along the way through finances, and are continuously seeing success. And it's to no surprise. Grant, thank you very much for being here with us. And I have no doubt all freelancers, not just freelance stunt performers, but guys in the film industry, anyone that's struggling in business right now, take this message as an opportunity to find your purpose, look back inside you, re-energize and be ready for world after lockdown, world after CV. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. Light that fire and take it head on. And it's a new world out there. Grant, thank you very much for being here, for inspiring. I can hear the story over and over, and I find different meaning to it. Guys, Grant Powell, subscribe to his YouTube channel to see amazing fight choreography, things that you've never seen on camera before, and you'll start seeing a lot more on the main screen. Thanks very much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, share this video. Grant, thank you very much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Sweet, brother.